why Brazil lost 7-1 at home, the darkest night in Brazilian football, July 8, 2014. Brazil wasn't just playing a football match, they were carrying the hopes of an entire nation. The World Cup was being held in Brazil. The stadiums were full. The streets were painted yellow and green. Millions believed this was the year Brazil would win football's greatest prize on home soil. But what happened that night would become the most shocking collapse in World Cup history, and it all happened in front of their own fans. Brazil entered the semi-final against Germany under enormous pressure. But there was already a problem. Their biggest star, Neymar, was injured and ruled out of the tournament. To make matters worse, Captain Thiago Silva was suspended. Two of Brazil's most important players were missing. Still, nobody expected what was about to happen. Not the fans, not the players, not even Germany. The match kicked off in Belo Horizonte. For the first few minutes, everything looked normal. Brazil attacked. The crowd roared. The dream was still alive. Then in the 11th minute, Germany struck first. Thomas Müller found space inside the box and calmly scored. Brazil were behind, but there was still plenty of time left. One goal wasn't a disaster, at least not yet. Then football history took a turn nobody could believe. In the 23rd minute, Germany scored again. Brazil's defense looked completely lost. Before the fans could even process what had happened, Germany scored a third, then a fourth, then a fifth. 5 goals. In just 29 minutes, the scoreboard read, Germany Fanti, Brazil 0. The entire stadium fell silent. Some fans were crying, others simply stared in disbelief. Millions watching around the world couldn't believe their eyes. Brazil weren't losing, they were collapsing. Germany's players looked unstoppable. Every attack felt dangerous. Every mistake was punished. Brazil chased the ball desperately, but nothing worked. The more they pushed forward, the more exposed they became. For the first time in modern football history, Brazil looked completely helpless on the biggest stage imaginable. When the referee blew for halftime, the score was still 5-0. Players walked off the pitch with their heads down. The crowd looked stunned. It felt less like a football match and more like a nightmare. The second half brought no miracle. Germany remained in control. In the 69th minute, Andre Schürrle scored Germany's 6th goal. 10 minutes later, he scored again, this time with a spectacular finish into the top corner. The scoreboard now showed Germany 7, Brazil 0. Even German fans could hardly believe what they were witnessing. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not in a World Cup semi-final, not against Brazil, and certainly not in Brazil. Near the end of the match, Brazil finally found a goal through Oscar, but it changed nothing. The damage had already been done. The final whistle blew. Germany 7, Brazil 1, one of the most famous scorelines in football history. For Brazil, it was more than a defeat. It was a national heartbreak. Many fans called it the darkest day in Brazilian football. Newspapers around the world described it as a sporting disaster. Even today, years later, people still remember exactly where they were when they watched that match. Germany would go on to win the World Cup a few days later, but the tournament is remembered for something else. A night when football's greatest nation suffered its greatest humiliation. A night when an entire country's dream was shattered. And a scoreline that football fans will never forget. Brazil 1, Germany 7. One match, one night, one of the biggest shocks in sports history. Subscribe for more football stories and documentaries.